staff. Call today at 478-738-0809. That's 478-738-0809. Unique to Auto Detailing, the place you leave with a glorious smile. The station is 980 AM, historic WDDO.
Behold, Jehovah, seated on the throne. Abba, Father, the well that overflows, the God who was and is and shall be forevermore. Holy is the Lord. Amen. Amen. Blessing and honor and glory and power. Amen. 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 Blessing and honor and glory and power. Amen. Behold the way, the truth and the light. Perfect Savior, the blood that washed us white, the God who was and is and shall be forevermore. Holy is the Lord. Amen. Amen. Blessing and honor and glory and power. Amen. 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 Blessing and honor and glory and power. Amen.
Holiness has a name, and it's Jesus. Oh, victory has a name, and it's Jesus.
The word has a name, and it's Jesus. Redemption has a name, and it's Jesus. Holiness, holiness, holiness has a name, and it's Jesus. Victory has a name, and it's Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. The word has a name.
Connecting the community through gospel. The new 107.9 FM, W300EB, Macon, and WDDO 980 AM, Perry, Macon. Connecting the community through gospel. The new 107.9 FM, W300EB, Macon, and WDDO 980 AM, Perry, Macon.
The views expressed on this program are not necessarily the views of the Glory 980 AM, the Glory Media Group, LLC, WDDO AM, its staff, management, or advertisers, but are the views and opinions of the participants of the broadcast.
Right.
Ask Elaine,
Well, hello, and welcome to another edition. Well, good afternoon once again, and welcome to Ask Elaine. This cold Wednesday evening, we're just happy. We're bringing the show today, streaming from the EL High School Academy, where we give students an opportunity to return to school and to finish their high school diploma from an accredited program. So we encourage you to check us out. Come see us. We'll be glad to give you all that you need in order to enroll, and you can finish your high school diploma and go wherever you want to be. I am just so happy to be joined by Senator David Lucas, who's with us today. And in a little bit, he's going to be talking about the legislature and what the legislature is about, what they're doing. Of course, they're not there today because of the weather, the snow, and all of that. But I will be returning up there for a committee meeting tomorrow. So he's on duty for you under the Gold Dome. But welcome once again to Ask Elaine. We hope that you've enjoyed the snow. It's been beautiful. And we've gotten some beautiful pictures and shared those with family and friends. And it's just been great. But you do have to be very, very careful, especially if the temperatures drop and we end up with that, what they call black ice, which you cannot see really well on the road. So we just encourage you, stay in. If you don't have to go out and do anything, just please stay in. Be very, very careful. Um, so we've done our greetings. We want to express our condolences to the families who have lost loved ones, the Davis family, um, and Reverend Summerow lost his mother. And we are sorry we were not able to attend that. We were at another function and couldn't attend, but you have our deepest sympathy in the loss of your mom. And to all of those who've lost loved ones or friends or whatever, we express our condolences. And we likewise express our well wishes to those of you who have had happy occasions. And so our prayer is that you'll be blessed either way. We want to talk to you today about a few things that are going on in the community. We first of all want to congratulate all of you who participated in the Martin Luther King event so far. As you know, the Martin Luther King Commission laid a wreath kicking off that series, this year long 2025 series of events. And these events will continue throughout 2025. And we encourage you to go on the Macon Bibb County webpage and look under the King icon, click on that, and you will get a monthly list of the events that are going on Many of the events are sponsored by community organizations like the Evangelical Ministers Alliance, also the Mentors Project, Making Black Culture, which sponsored a wonderful parade and pep rally on the East Side Out Loud. They did it on Sunday, and that was just a wonderful, wonderful event. And well, series of events, and there are many, many others. So y'all take part and don't just remember Dr. King on his birthday because you get a day off and then you remember him. You commemorate him when he was assassinated in April. But there are all these other days that we need to be about commemorating Dr. King. We want to encourage you to attend your governmental meetings whenever you can. The county commissioners meet, and all of these are posted. Some of them will change, but they're all posted. So Google the meeting that you'd like to attend or the organization, whether it's the commission, the water board, the transit authority, the school board, whatever it is, you need to Google it and find out when the meeting is taking place. And if you're interested, usually there will be an agenda where you can see all the items that will come before that body. And if you're interested in some of them, go to them. Let them see that you are interested and sign up to speak on any issue. It's your government. You pay for it. And so you need to certainly take part in it, which brings us to an item that is of deep concern to a large number of us, especially those who are members of the downtown churches, First Baptist and Stewart Chapel. There is a request for a variance that the H&H restaurant has requested, and the hearing for it is before the Planning and Zoning Commission on next Monday, the 27th, and I believe it's at 1:30. And at that time, the Planning and Zoning Board, which is made up of members that are appointed by the county commission, I've voted for, I think, every one of them that sits on the Planning and Zoning Board. They are the ones that make the decision, and H&H couldn't get a liquor license to sell alcohol there where they're located because it's prohibited. It's too close to those churches. And I have to add those historic Black churches. And so what they had to do was to petition Planning and Zoning to get what's called a variance, which means that they would be allowed to be involved in certain other kinds of business transactions in that area. And so what they are requesting is to be able to sell alcohol there at H&H, which is right at the back door of First Baptist Church and is down the street from historic Stewart Chapel, the church that I've been a member of and the senator has been a member of for 50 years, the senator, and me for over 40 years. The members are opposed to granting this variance to H&H, and we are doing various things. I've talked with the pastors of those churches, our pastor, Dr. West, and the pastor of First Baptist, Dr. Goolsby, and they are both opposed to granting the right for H&H to sell alcohol right there in their back doors. We have a petition that is available, and if you would like to help us, please contact me and we will make these available to you to get signatures of people who are in opposition to alcohol sales in the back doors of those historic churches. That's one thing that we're doing. You can just call me anytime. I'll be glad to provide the petitions. And if you will get signatures, we'd appreciate that. Another thing is we're going to do an informational picket. And we are going to let people know as people pass by on Cotton Avenue in there that we are opposed to alcohol sales at those historic Black churches. And those of you who want to take part in what we are doing, we're just going to encourage you to please take part. Don Druitt says to tell them they could serve non-alcoholic orange juice and beer. Well, beer is alcoholic. Beer has alcohol in it. And so, yeah, they could do orange juice or something else, but we don't want alcoholic beverages, alcohol sold at H&H right next to those churches. The other thing, in addition to the informational picket, is that will start at 12 noon on Friday. So if you would join with us and meet us in the parking lot of Stewart Chapel, AME Church at 12 noon on Friday, we would be glad to have you to be a part of our informational picket. Dress warmly, because we will be doing a little bit of marching. And those are two of the things that we're going to do. The other thing is we would like for as many of you as possible to prepare a statement of opposition and come to the Planning and Zoning meeting on Monday, the 27th at 1:30. Be there at 1:15 to sign up to express your opposition to this. It is insulting. It is trying to go through the back door and get behind the scenes approval on this to sell alcohol and disrespect those churches in there. So we encourage you. Don says non-alcohol beer. Oh, and non-alcohol. Sorry, that should have said both. Yeah, non-alcohol stuff. You know, they could do that now, I think. Can't they, Senator? Sell non-alcoholic beer.
I would assume they go buy it at the store and bring it in.
Right. So those things are possible now, but we just don't want this in that area, because once you open that up and you go through the back door and get approval on this, then there are no guardrails. It's just like Washington. Once Trump took the oath on Monday, he's doing everything that he said he was going to do and more. So we want your support, and we want to congratulate Apostle and the members and the Drive Time Gang for their actions on Monday. While we were at the Martin Luther King breakfast and other activities, they were out there at the Circle K on Bass Road, that's being repaired and upgraded using all of our money. The Circle K, some employee in there insulted Apostle and cursed at him, told him, F you. And so he and all of us on Drive Time were not going to take that disrespect. And I was so proud of the gang that appeared out there to picket the Circle K. And I saw the video of it and saw that people were not turning in the Circle K. That is what we've got to get back to, and that is being activists, because people are taking us for granted. They're thinking, well, we got Trump in the White House, and he's going to let us do what we want to do. He just let out of jail 1,500 criminals. Folks who broke into your Capitol in Washington, ransacked it, used the bathroom in the hallways and left it there, tried to find Nancy Pelosi and the other Congress people, and they were going to hang Mike Pence. That's what they were chanting. That's the crew of people that Donald Trump just pardoned. As a matter of fact, after he did the pardon, they let him out of jail then. These are folks who committed all kinds of crimes. Now, you let me or the senator or any of you who are listening commit some crimes and see what happens. See what happens. Pastor Lisa has joined us. We want to welcome you. We're doing a remote from EL High School today. The roads, it's just best for you to stay off the roads, and we want to welcome all of you. Y'all please hit like and share so that we can remind others that we are on today. And this is Ask Elaine. This is the place where you get smarter. We, Pastor Lisa and the others, we have been talking about the H&H restaurant and the disrespect that they're trying to show to especially those historic Black churches, First Baptist and Stewart Chapel. And we have a petition that we're trying to get signatures on. We're going to attend the meeting on Monday out at the Macon Mall at the Planning and Zoning meeting room. And present the petitions in opposition to allowing H&H to sell alcohol there right in the back door of First Baptist and down the street from Stewart Chapel. The two churches are united, and we hope the other churches are as well in opposing this. We will do an informational picket on Friday starting at 12 noon. Starting at in the parking lot of Stewart Chapel and moving down to First Baptist. And we will conduct this informational picket to let people know that we oppose this, and also to get people to come to the hearing out at the Macon Mall at Planning and Zoning on Monday at 1:30. We will be posting all of this information. We'll be posting all this information on my Facebook page. Patrick says, correct me if I am wrong, could a small group of local Black investors make an offer to buy the H&H restaurant from the Moonhanger Group? I certainly think so, Patrick. And if they're going to continue to impose these disrespectful acts on our community, then that may be something that people ought to think about. Pastor Lisa says we will continue to help get signatures for the petition. We need all of you. Those of you who tuned in on AM, FM, and those who are on the Glory Live, we are so glad that you're there. We welcome you each week. We are so glad that you are listening and that you're getting smarter, but we need some folks who are going to take action. My colleague on the water board, Desmond Brown, is a part of this. He's going to be there blowing his whistle like he blew it Monday morning out with Apostle, where they showed their disdain for people who disrespect the Apostle. And so we want to continue that and let this community know what we want and what we don't want. Looks like we're going to have to go back to the tried and true ways that we have had in the past of letting people know. And while I'm on that subject, there are a number of companies like Walmart and some others that have taken the position that Trump is right, and he is telling them to dismantle their DEI, which means all the Black and brown folks that are working, get rid of them. Because they're saying that we all got our jobs just because of our skin color, that we were not qualified for being in those positions. But DEI is just a way of leveling the playing field and giving everybody an opportunity at earning a living and being a contributing member of this country. But those companies that are getting rid of their diversity programs and rolling back their equality measures, we don't need to buy there. And one prominent one is Walmart. And you know, we're up in Walmart thick. I am quite often, but I won't be. From now on, I can find stuff somewhere else. And we're going to need a complete list. If you have a list of those other companies that have done away with their diversity, their DEI, diversity or affirmative action programs, please let us know and we will put those out there so people can start taking their money where they are respected. So, okay, we're going to do the petition. We're asking people to come and get a petition and get the signatures on that so that we can present that to planning and zoning. And we're also going to ask our county commissioners who vote to approve the folks who serve on planning and zoning. We're going to ask them to join us in asking that this particular request be denied. And the request is for a variance, which is a change in what's allowed. The H&H is asking that they be allowed to sell alcohol there in the back door of First Baptist and Stewart Chapel. We are adamantly opposed to it. We're not opposed to people drinking if they want to, but if you had a map of Macon beer with all the places that you can get beer and wine and anything else you want to drink, a map would be lit up like a Christmas tree. You can get it all over, and especially in the Black community. So why is it so important for H&H to be able to sell alcohol in the back door of Stewart Chapel and First Baptist? And you also have St. Joseph's Catholic Church right up the street there. You got the St. Joseph's Catholic School, which is right up the hill. And you've got the hospital. Do y'all remember when they had a McDonald's near the emergency room at the medical center? And people got mad because they said they were selling fast food, and they forced the McDonald's, which by the way was owned by a Black couple of entrepreneurs. They forced McDonald's out of there because they were serving fast food, and it was not in keeping with the health outcomes that they wanted, especially being the atrium there. It was medical center then. So if you can get rid of McDonald's, why are you going to allow alcohol right next door to historically Black churches? Why would you do that? Patrick has given us some more information, and Pastor Lisa says there are plenty of places. Doesn't have to be there at churches. You got Children's Hospital, Heart Center, emergency room, and school. Yes, ma'am, you surely do. There are plenty of places already downtown for alcohol, and those who drink know exactly where all those places are. Patrick says that several companies have recently announced that they are ending or reducing their diversity, equity, and inclusion programs, including Ford Motor. They stopped using quotas for minority suppliers and dealerships. Coors ended quotas for supplier diversity. And John Deere stopped participating in cultural awareness events and eliminated its pronoun policy, he, she, her, that kind of thing. Harley Davidson ended diversity and other progressive initiatives. Boeing dismantled its DEI department. Toyota moved away from DEI initiatives. Patrick has provided us, and Dr. Butler is here. So good to see you, Commissioner and Senator. We will support you and stand with you in addressing this issue in the alcohol sale in this area. And we want to thank everybody who's joined us. Pastor Lisa says we will withhold our money. They'll get some respect then. And that's what we are going to have to do. When Apostle and his crew went out there and picketed Circle K, nobody drove in there to buy. And I am sure that Circle K suffered as a result. They lost money. And when they lose money, then they start listening. And you're absolutely right. They will listen. We have got to do something to protect our institutions. And I've heard one particular person say, well, they don't feel disrespected. It's a business deal. It may be business to them, but it is disrespect to me and disrespect to those historic Black churches and the white churches that are in there. So we're asking everybody to work with us, to cooperate, to help us, to join us at 12 noon down at the Stewart Chapel parking lot. And I don't want to be down there by myself. So we got to have some people to join us. And we're going to do an informational picket from Stewart Chapel down to First Baptist and then back. We will be there from starting at 12 o'clock. And so if you can come a little later, that will be fine. But we need some people down there. We want to congratulate Macon on the MLK events, Pastor Lisa and Dr. Butler, and the Evangelical Ministers Alliance, which is chaired by Pastor Leon Ward. And so those events have been wonderful. And there are many, many more to come. So I'm now going to ask Senator if he would tell us a few of the things that happened this first week of the legislature. And we want to welcome all of you to this edition of Ask Elaine. We are streaming from EL High School Academy, the offices here, because we didn't want to be out spinning and sliding on the road, going to the radio station. But WDDO and their wonderful people have accommodated us, and we're on. And y'all, please, once this show is over, please share it, because we want everybody to have this information. Senator, tell us what happened this past week in the legislature, and tell us what you expect in weeks to come.
Well, Republicans have us drinking Trump's Kool-Aid. We had a resolution to come before us that persecutes Fonnie Willis as the DA. Those kind of things are going on, that everybody's drinking from the same cup of Kool-Aid that Trump is drinking from. If you notice, you're talking about birthright. Here in the United States, been part of the Constitution for 157 years. And if you're born in this country, then you're an American citizen. He's going to try to change the law by his signature to take away birthright here in the United States. Donald Trump is doing exactly what he said he was going to do. He just freed all the folks in the insurrection on January the 6th and 20th. These were people who were a mob, who fought police officers, who hit them with iron pipes, those kind of things. And I think one of them ended up committing suicide. The trauma of being a police officer and fighting a mob at the Capitol, where you had the Congress folks who were hiding, Vice President Pence hiding in a locker downstairs where they couldn't get to him. Those kind of things are happening. On the other side, for Macon, we've gotten a resolution passed by the county commission for a third term for the mayor. They didn't say anything about terms for the county commission, and they got a problem. those county commissioners who were elected but were sworn in to fill the unexpired terms of the other commissioners can't run for one more time. We've got to deal with that. I've said that we take term limits off the county commission and let the mayor have it at a third term. Doesn't mean he's going to win it, but he can run for it. The other thing we're going to do, the water authority is too big. Their districts are 37,500. That is 27,500 more than the county commission district. And so we will be introducing a bill to redistrict the Macon Bill Water and Sewage Authority. And in that, we will reduce the numbers and have 7 districts, which means that those average districts will be 22,000, which are still 5,000 more than the county commission. But it gives us an opportunity to get folks involved. We can find out a little bit more about the private hunting club. We can find out a little bit more about the pecan orchard. We can find out a little bit more about the rental property. What kind of money is the water authority bringing in when they're turning around raising our water rates? We need to know.
Yeah.
And the only way we're going to be able to know is we got to have some folks sitting at the table to help cut up the pie. And I just think it's no more than fair that we begin this process and reduce those districts because they are too huge.
Right. So Pastor Lisa says make commission and mayor both with no term limits.
Well, the term limit is the thing with the mayor. The mayors for years are making them serve 2 terms. And this mayor and the county commission are asking us that he be allowed to serve a 3rd term. Well, the question, excuse me, that I have, take the term limits off the county commission. That's part of the problem. We ended up with consolidation, and consolidation was the problem. What folks felt like there were too many of those who looked like me in the elected offices. The majority of the city council was black, and the majority of the county commission was black. And now the majority of the county commission is white.
And the school board and the water board and all of these other boards that are the ones that are appointed or majority white. I have nothing against white folks serving on stuff. Hear me clearly. I have nothing. But when black folks and brown folks are in the majority in a community, then they ought to be able to elect a majority of their fine, upstanding citizens who have leadership qualities and also want to make the community the best place that it can be. You ought to be able to elect a majority of your own folks to guide the community. Now, some of that's on us because we don't go vote like we should. Patrick just posted that Republicans are currently in control of big government, even though when you run nonpartisan. You don't have to put down whether you're a Democrat or Republican. And that's one of the tricks that's been put into government, where you could be the worst old thing and you could run for office and you didn't have to tell whether you were Democrat and Republican. And I know that there's some bad Democrats, some bad Republicans. But the one I'm looking at right now, that Trump is some kind of person. This is the person who is determined to get rid of the overwhelming numbers of people who don't have white skin. And that is his goal. And he knows that there are enough other racists that agree with him. And there were enough of them that went to vote for him, and enough of other folks, right-thinking folks, who did not go vote. Because if we had had 10,000 more right-thinking folks to vote in many of these areas, including Macon-Bibb County, the results would have been different. And we would be cheering that Kamala Harris is the newly inaugurated president. It would be a completely different story. Pastor Lisa says, and we can revisit the charter to change elections back to November, not May. There are a number of changes. And because our legislative delegation has shifted, now you now have influence over that legislative delegation. And I understand that there are a number of town hall meetings that will be held, and the legislative delegation will be invited to answer questions about issues of concern to the community, issues like the third term, the mayor's third term, redistricting the water authority, charter changes, putting the elections back on a partisan basis. All of those things we can bring before our legislators. That's what they're there for. And I just think this is an opportunity for us to let them know what we think. Because if we don't let them know what we think, they're just going to kind of go on what they think. And it might not be what we, the people, think. Pastor says we've got the numbers, but we got to go vote. And you're absolutely right. I think everybody on here, and I missed calling someone's name. I missed Hildred Jones. Thank you so much for always tuning in and supporting. Y'all hit like and share, and please add your comments in the chat. We are streaming remotely today from EL High School Academy. We don't want to slip and slide all over Macon trying to get to the studio, but our trusty senator and I came from the house, which is not far, and we are here because we just wanted to share these things. Hats off to all that braved the weather to march in honor of the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King. And we just appreciated all those folks who filled historic Stewart Chapel. Our pastor, Reverend Dr. Wanda Smith West, was the preacher for the day, and she made some real good points and challenged people to do some things and remember our history and do what we can. And Pastor Lisa reminds us that Trump is a felon himself. What was it, 34 counts?
That's right.
34 counts. And he gets to sit in the White House. How dare he?
Yeah. He got a get out of jail card.
Get out of jail free.
Mar-a-Lago, where he took out all of those documents and stuff they shouldn't have had.
Is a convicted rapist. Convicted fraudster, although that case may, I don't know. Anyway, I was just going to say something real ugly, and I don't need to say that. I want to invite all of you to join us in some activism. It's time for us to get up. We're not in a comfort zone. At least I know I'm not, with Trump in office. So we've got to defend ourselves. We've got to do something for ourselves. So what we can do, first of all, is sign this petition to say to H&H, and we have nothing against the folks. They own a number of businesses in Macon and provide entertainment and food and all of that, and that is wonderful. But you don't have to sell alcohol there. Not alcohol there. And So we've got to be involved in that. So y'all need to meet me at noon in the parking lot of Stewart Chapel AME Church, and we will have an informational picket to let people know what's about to happen, what is intended to happen there, and also encourage people to join us on Monday, the 27th, at the Planning and Zoning Meeting Room at your Macon Mall. As you know, is I guess mostly yours now, and your money went to upgrade it, including the planning and zoning offices. And the county commission approves the appointments to the planning and zoning. I myself have personally voted for every one of the folks who now serve on planning and zoning. And there's some good folks on there. And I hope that they will listen to us as we express our opposition to alcohol sales in the back door of First Baptist and Stewart Chapel, and that they will vote no. But in the meantime, you've got to call those folks. You got to call them. And so if you send me a text message with your email, I will send you the information with the list of the planning and zoning members. Hopefully I can get phone numbers. The list that I saw on the website did not have phone numbers. Now, people who are serving the public always need to have a contact number where you can get in touch with them. So that's got to change. If their numbers are somewhere else, I will find them and have them for you. Also, the location and the time of the meeting for planning and zoning. So we want to get that information. We also want you to sign the petition and help us to distribute the petitions in opposition to granting that variance to H&H to sell alcohol in the back door, at the back door, across the street from First Baptist and down the street from Stewart Chapel. We want you to join us 12 noon Friday for the informational picket. And we also want you to write out a short statement or just, some bullet points, and be prepared to express your opposition at that planning and zoning meeting. It's time for us to start going to our governmental entities and let them know how we feel about these different issues. The reason we get shortchanged is because we sit around and we fuss and we whine, but we won't go and let the people know how we want our money spent. We won't go and let them know we don't want our rates raised the number of times that they're thinking of, like at the water board. When we were fighting against the rate increase for the Macon Transit Authority year before last, we had a good group of people who pulled together, and we were able to convince not only the commission, but the Macon Transit Authority folks that we were serious and we did not want the rates increased on poor people, especially if you're getting federal money and state money that you can use to take care of what you need to do, and you're going to put it on the backs of poor people. Macon-Bibb County has from anywhere from 27 to 40% poverty rate, depending on where you live. Yours is higher or lower, depending on where you live. In Macon-Bibb County, if you live in a certain area, you live 10 years, your life expectancy is 10 years shorter than somebody who lives, say, in Stanislaus or North Macon. Why in the world is that? So if you're concerned about it, you got to do something about it. Pastor Lisa, if President Obama had one count of anything, they got mad with him because he wore a beige suit one time. And they can't get enough of talking about why Michelle Obama wasn't at the inauguration. That's her business. That's her business. She's probably out making another $1 million selling another book. And she didn't have time to waste up there looking at Trump, which she does not like, and we don't either. So
who did not put his hand on the Bible?
Who didn't put his hand on the Bible,
to be sworn in, y'all?
To when the swearing in, he did not put his hand on the Bible. Probably would have burned him up if he had put his hand on the Bible. Yeah, but we've got some difficult days ahead, as Dr. King said, some difficult days, but we can make a difference. We want you also to go out and vote March 18th. For those of you who didn't know, there is an election March 18th. It's an election to approve or to decline to approve a SPLOST, $450 million over the next 10 years, which will go for road improvements. It will go for a lot of the good things that we need to have done in Macon. Contrary to what people think, Macon is on the move. Macon is making a lot of progress. There's a lot that's going on, and we need to support that, and we need to have a way of supporting it, and the SPLOST is one of those ways. But we have got to demand that a large portion of that SPLOST money be allocated before we vote to stormwater treatment and stormwater upgrades all over this community, not just in certain areas. We have got to demand that in exchange for our support, in order for us to support that SPLOST, because it doesn't have to pass now. And for those who are listening, who are, just kind of eavesdropping, it doesn't have to pass. And people don't want their water bills jacked up sky high. They've already said that. And I'm saying it as a member, and Desmond Brown says it as a member of the water board. We are serious about that. That you cannot put all of the cost of upgrades on the backs of citizens. They can't afford but so much. So we are encouraging your involvement. You need to pack out the commission chamber. You need to pack out the water authority meeting. We meet the first Thursday of each month. So the first Thursday of February is what date? February. Anyway, the first Thursday. Committee meetings start at 2:00. We don't know when the full water board meeting will be held. It depends on when we finish with the committee reports. And so what we want to do, and we've had a request to change that so that there's a certain time for the water board full meeting, so that people who work will know when to come. If they don't want to come and sit through all the committee meetings, then they can just come to the water board meeting. That's fair. That's fair. Everybody doesn't have all day off to come and sit at the water board. Macon Transit Authority meets the last Tuesday of each month at 5:30. And I'm hoping that they will continue to work toward keeping those fares where they are, and that they will also work on finding a handicap accessible meeting place, because where they are meeting, if there's an emergency that takes place, somebody's not going to get out of that room that's stuck up at the very top of the terminal station. You can say on this date, January 22nd, you heard it on Ask Elaine. So these are the kinds of things that you need to be involved in. The school board, very important. They've got a lot of work to do, a lot of important work. We want to congratulate Murtis Johnson for being voted in as the new president for, I think it's a yearly thing, one year at a time, and they rotate. We want to congratulate her. We want to congratulate Dr. Ficklin and Barney Hester as they were sworn in week before last to the school board. We want to congratulate all of the folks who are serving, but there's a need for some more Black and brown folks serving in all of these different capacities. And when we are there, then we can recommend other folks to serve on these different appointed boards and authorities. We deserve to be there. We're the majority of the voters. We just need to act like that. And let's see what Patrick has shared. Wade, good afternoon to you. The commissioners should have tabled the legislation. This is Wade. Says that they should have tabled the legislation requesting to extend the mayor's term so that they could include other things that needed to be changed as well. Our elections should mirror the state elections that do have partisan elections. Valuable information will be forgotten because of the term limits. You're right. People, he's saying people like me and Commissioner Watkins and City Councilman Ed DeFore prevented a lot of problems because we knew the history. Lastly, let's save money by moving our elections back to November. And I agree with you, Wade. And those are comments by Wade Horton. We want to welcome Wade. Wade he and his cousin hold the fort down for us at the Macon Transit Authority. They need some help. They need to have some more people. There are 160,000 folks in this community. And it looks like we could get 10 or 20 to go to these meetings. You don't have to say anything. You can just sit there. Your very presence makes a statement. But I'm especially inviting you on Monday to join us at the Planning and Zoning meeting. The agenda has been published, and they will have a hearing as to whether they will approve or disapprove a request for a variance by H&H Restaurant to allow alcohol sales there. As I said before, in the back door of First Baptist Church, historic First Baptist, and right there across from the D.T. Walton, where his office was, First Baptist owns that now, I think, and down the street from historic Stewart Chapel. So do we approve of the disrespect? I don't, and I'm going to be there in the parking lot of Stewart Chapel at 12 noon on Friday. Today's Wednesday, then Thursday, then Friday at 12 noon. And then Monday, the 27th, is when we expect to see you at the meeting for the hearing as to whether the Planning and Zoning board members will approve or disapprove this variance to H&H. Now, when Mama Louise and her sister were owners there, I understand years ago they requested to sell alcohol there. They were denied. And they were denied for a reason. Probably because it was right in the back door of First Baptist and down the street from Stewart Chapel. And so now H&H is trying to go through the back door on this and get Planning and Zoning to give them a variance, which would allow them to then request an alcohol license. Okay, and so this very fine station here, we're going to give you a list of the different community organizations, governmental organizations, when they meet so that you can announce those. And we're just so grateful to this historic station and the owners and the engineer and the other folks who help us out so much. And so we just thank you all for tuning in with us. We have about 5 minutes left.
And let me tell you something about them 5 minutes. Y'all need to show up at the water board meeting. There are a lot of things going on that you don't know about. You need to show up.
Yeah.
They got a private hunting club. They own a pecan orchard. But who picking up the pecans? Who getting the money?
Rental property.
They got rental property. How much rental property, how much money are you taking in when you're asking ratepayers to pay an increased cost? You need to have all those figures together before you start asking ratepayers to pay the cost.
Right. There's a lot that you can do.
But if you don't show up, then you won't know.
That is absolutely right. If you don't show up, then they'll say, well, they don't care. We can do what we want to do.
Well, I doubt that. We're going to fix that.
Okay.
We're gonna fix that. So we need to tell your delegation members, y'all want it, and they need to support redrawing the lines for the Macon Water and Sewer Authority. That's just all to it.
Yeah. Yeah. So we want to thank all of you for tuning in today. We wanted to make sure that you knew, especially about the H&H activities, and that the Martin Luther King events, most of them sponsored by the Evangelical Ministers Alliance, and then Macon Black Culture did a lot of stuff, Mentors Project, all of them had a lot of wonderful things. We wanted to come and thank all of them for that. We wanted to let you know that these things are all important. And we also wanted to let you know that Senator is still on duty for you at the state capitol, as are Floyd Griffin and others. So we just wanted to make sure that we didn't miss an opportunity to share this with you. Now, if you want to help us with getting these petitions signed, see, I've already signed. Senator's gonna sign, and then we've got these ready so that if you want them, you can check in with me. I will post my number in the chat, and you can call me. My email address, I'll put that in the chat as well. And you can request one of these, and I can send it to you as an attachment to your email, so that you can go ahead and start getting signatures. I'm gonna check with someone too, so that we can have an online petition. And those of you who are connected with any of us can sign online. We need to do that today as well. But we need to let folks know what we want and what we don't want. And this is time. This is time for us to stand up, because we've got a tyrant in Washington, we got a tyrant in Atlanta, and we don't want tyrants to prevail. And so let's get busy. I will see you all at 12 noon on Friday in the parking lot of Stewart Chapel AME Church. Y'all, please join me. Dress warmly. It's going to be cold. So, but we aren't going to march long, but we're going to make our voices heard. So thank you again so very much. Get registered if you are not registered, because there's an election March 18th for or against the SPLOST. So on behalf of the senator and myself from EL High School Academy today, thank you all so much for joining us, and we'll see you again next Wednesday for another edition of Ask Elaine.
Good day. They know how to rig it up, don't they?